Hey everyone, Lucid here. I'm going to be making a short series about the three main types of VTubing when it comes to content creation. I kind of feel like this could be helpful for anyone who's thinking about maybe going into VTubing, or maybe anyone who wants to go into content creation in general but doesn't really want to show their face, but they still want to feel like they can react to whatever content that they're making. Now, there are three types of VTubers, in my opinion, from what I can tell. There are PNGTubers, live 2D VTubers, and 3D VTubers. I will only go into PNGTubers right now because I feel like each type deserves their own type of video. And I don't know, I also believe that each type has their own strengths and weaknesses that we kind of have to go over to see if you might be interested in one type or the other. And I feel like having a video for each individual one, I can give you more information on, which one might be better for you. So like I said earlier, each type of VTuber has their own strengths and weaknesses, whether they are due to content creation or maybe on the technical side of things. That's kind of what we're going to go into to see if maybe one is better than the other. So let's get started on the first type today, and that is PNGTubers. What are they exactly? So just for a quick summary, PNGTubers are VTubers who use a single image or PNG or a variety of different images in order to express their emotions or display when they are not talking and talking. So as you can see here on my left side, this is an example of a reactive image from a popular site that I've seen a lot of VTubers use for their PNGs called Fugitech. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly, but this is one way for VTubers to kind of show their audience that they're talking, and when they're not talking, as you can see here, when I'm not talking, it kind of goes dim and it shows a PNG of my character sleeping, and then when I am talking, my character lights up with his mouth open, and that kind of represents me talking. I think it's actually really easy to set up. All you have to do is look up Fugitech on Google, should be the first thing to pop up, and then once that is connected to your Discord, it can be by either yourself or with your friends if you want their PNGs to show up as well, and it's just all set up. You add the source onto OBS like you would add any other browser source, and it works just immediately. It works great. I've heard only a couple of hiccups with it, but as far as I can tell, it is a lot easier to do this now than it was before. I definitely recommend checking out this website, especially if you are wanting to be a PNGTuber just with these expressions of you not talking and talking, or maybe you're already a VTuber and you want to have collaborations with other VTubers and you want an image to be displayed for you and their image displayed on your stream, like vice versa. This sort of format of using PNGs, I believe, is the best for when you are streaming instead of making videos, just because this way it's kind of all automated. It lights up when your mic is firing off. You don't have to worry about pushing any extra buttons when you're wanting to change your expression. It just works immediately like this without having to worry about any other buttons, like I said. The other main way that I've seen people use PNGs is by having multiple expressions drawn out for them. And obviously you can choose which expressions, like happy, sad, angry, etc., just like how you've seen other VTubers use in the past. Now this way I'm not a huge fan of, just because you either have to set up hotkeys where F12 or F13 or whatever is happy, F14 is sad, and so on, or what I recommend using is an Elgato Stream Deck. Now I've had a Stream Deck for a long time, so this isn't a brand new purchase for me, and it does wonders when you're trying to do things like expressions. Like even for my live 2D model right now, as you can see, I have neutral set up right now. I can do happy, which gives me a heart. I can do confused or sad, and then I can go back to neutral without any extra issues like that. So an Elgato Stream Deck is really useful for something like this, but you don't really need a Stream Deck if you are using this for, let's say, making YouTube videos. The Stream Deck is, like in the name, mainly used for streaming, I feel like. So with this kind of type of quote unquote PNG tuber, I definitely see this being utilized a lot more in something like making YouTube videos rather than live streaming. Because when you're live streaming, you have to push the buttons at the right time in order to have your character react the same time that you're wanting to react, and having to worry about that extra task when you're streaming. What I've seen as a great example of a possibility is a YouTube channel that I really like named Code Bullet. They have a PNG of themselves. I don't think they classify themselves as a PNG tuber, but I'm going to classify them as that because that's pretty much what they are. But basically they have several different images of themselves reacting in certain ways, frustrated, happy, excited, stuff like that. I'm assuming what they do is when they are editing their video, that's when they install all the PNGs into their video, so they have cut them and placed them exactly where they need to be in the video to express that specific emotion at that specific part of the video. Works amazing. I love it because he's not having to show his face. He has this character, this persona, and just how expressive those images are, I think work really well with the kind of content that he's making. So I definitely see this being used in like adding PNGs or adding your reactions post editing when you're editing your video. That way you don't have to worry about any of the hotkeys being pushed. You don't have to worry about a stream deck. You just have to worry about slapping on the images onto the video when you're editing it. And honestly, since you're the one recording the video, it'll be a lot easier for you to tell what emotion am I trying to portray at this specific scene. I do see PNG tubing as the best option when you are either just starting out in streaming and or VTubing, mainly just because it takes up the least amount of resources on your computer. If your PC is not strong enough, it might not be able to use things like live 2D or 3D programs that need to track your face with the camera. You also don't even have to worry about investing in a camera if you want to be a PNG tuber. It's just you need a microphone, you need hotkeys, and that is pretty much it. Now, tracking and a camera and stuff like that, I will go over in the other videos, so we're not going to go into that since you don't need that to be a PNG tuber. But I'm just wanting to say that you do not need a powerful PC in order to have images displayed in your video or in your stream. It's not going to be as resource heavy as the other types of VTubing. So I'd say this is the best option in starting out, as well as pricing wise. Now, how much does it actually cost to be a PNG tuber? For PNG tubing, it definitely varies, but I'd say it's the cheapest option out of the three. One, mainly if you are already an artist and you have a character designed for yourself already, all you have to do is just make an art piece of your character in whatever expressions you want, and then all the software or websites like Fugitech, completely free to use. So it's not going to cost you a penny to do any of that. It's just going to cost you your time. Now you can invest in something like having an artist, commissioning an artist like I did, because I'm not good at art, at least not yet, where you can commission someone to make those images for you. And the pricing for that, I can't give you a rough estimate because it definitely varies on the artist that you choose based on the style that you want and how many images you want them to make. So definitely look into that. I'd say, especially when it comes to VTubing, you want to do a lot of research because every artist has their own different style, whether it be really similar to another one or very different from most. You just really got to do your research when you're looking for an artist. But like I said, depending on the artist, you can either find something really cheap or something really expensive, but it's exactly as you want, and all the different amounts of expressions can rack up that pricing. So always take a look at that for when it comes to pricing. For me, I believe I spent $75 just for these two chibi arts that I've had for my reactive images, but that is about it. Like I said earlier, Fugitech is completely free to use for all your images, so you don't have to worry about paying anything for using Fugitech. But hotkeys are always free, and from what I mentioned before, using a stream deck is very useful when you are streaming. But again, that costs a pretty penny. Like I said, I've had a stream deck lying around since years ago. So that's why I wasn't too worried about it, because I already have it set up for my other stuff. I just have to add my VTuber stuff onto it. But if you are just starting out, I wouldn't recommend investing in the Stream Deck right away. You can really just wait a little bit longer and use hotkeys for now and get a Stream Deck later, upgrade when you have the money for it, because it is worth it. I just don't want you to invest the money into something if you're not entirely sure if it's a good idea for you. So definitely hold up on the Stream Deck if you don't already have one, and just use hotkeys, because like I said, hotkeys are completely free. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you're wanting to learn more about PNGTubers and if it might be a good fit for you, I'm sorry if I tend to ramble on, that just happens to me. I even have a full script fully written out. Half of the script I didn't even say, so that's just me. But I will be making 2 more videos, one about Live 2D and one about 3D VTubers. So keep an eye out for those if either of those options might interest you. But yeah, if you liked this video, please leave a like on it. It also helps with the algorithm. If you want to check out more of my stuff, if you want to be notified for the new videos coming out, definitely subscribe to my channel, because I will be putting out more videos like this and more simulator / other game ideas out there. But if that is everything, I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.